Monday, sunny, high 107. Don't miss D-backs Hall of Famer Randy Johnson's jersey retirement ceremony this Saturday, August 8th at Chase Field. All fans will get a commemorative tee, courtesy of Fry's. Visit dbacks.com. I'm Staff Meteorologist John Weatherby. Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
It's 100 degrees right now. Dow is down 90 points at 17,330. S&P down 12 at 2,072. The NASDAQ down 30 at 5,026. Reporting for Money Radio, I'm Ken Morgan.
The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of Money Radio staff, management, or advertisers, and do not represent an offer to buy or sell any securities. Some interviews heard on this program may be sponsored by the participants. It's time for Health Futures with Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth. This is Arizona's only show dedicated to providing you with expert advice on how to live a longer, healthier, and happier life. To learn more, call 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Bob Roth.
Good afternoon. My name is Bob Roth, and you are listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. It is Friday, August 7th. I can't believe we're already in the month of August. And we're coming at you live from the Scottsdale Air Park, right here at Money Radio Studios. 1510 AM, 99.3 FM, and we can be found live on the internet at moneyradio1510.com. And if you're just tuning in, our show is appropriately named Health Futures because we are talking about the future of health for our aging adult population. And taking stock in you is so that we can help people that are listening into the show and their loved ones to take stock in themselves and really give them resources on how to do exactly what I said earlier, live a longer, happier life. We've been on the air now going on 20 months. We brought to you, our listening audience, over 80 shows, and we have brought incredible guests aboard. Last week, we had 2 guests in from St. Luke's Behavioral Health, and we got our first call-in. So we're very excited about that. And we were bringing some meaningful information about the programs that they offer at St. Luke's Behavioral Health, and specifically about their Momentum program where they come into the home, as well as about the Generations program that they have at their 2 fine institutions here in the Valley. With that being said, bringing into the home, our aging adult population, so many of them can't get out. It's a real chore to get out. You know, especially with it being as warm as it is these days. We're in the dog days of summer. The humidity is here. The monsoons are here. And before you know it, it'll probably be October. But right now, it is August 7th. And I want to introduce our guests here today because as I talk about bringing resources to our listening audience, I think it's important for us to bring resources that are meaningful but be able to bring them into the home. So I am very privileged to have in my studio, I have Sun eBX electronic brachytherapy, and I've got 3 representatives from the company here with us today. I have Dr. Latif, who's the medical doctor. He's a radiation oncologist. I got Mandy Stoffel, who's an LPN, nurse clinician liaison. And as she tells me, she's the go-to gal.
You got it, Bob.
At Sun eBX. And I got Suzanne Stillion, who I've known for a number of years. I've got a great admiration and respect for you, and you are the community liaison. So welcome to Health Futures.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
We're here talking about what Sun eBX is and brachytherapy. And you know what? I'm going to just turn it over to you, Dr. Latif. Tell me a little bit about what is Sun eBX?
Sun eBX, we are a clinic who essentially pioneered skin cancer treatment in Valley, and the treatment modality which we are very proud of presenting is called electronic brachytherapy. So this is the latest technology for treatment and cure of skin cancer, And the beauty is it is so localized, and we can treat it with the radiation, this particular form of radiation, and we don't have to cut the patient. There's no cutting, no bleeding, no infection, no pain, no scars, no anesthesia. And on top of that, the cure rate is 98%. And this has been proven in the papers, medical studies, data, which has matured almost 10 years. So 98% 98% clinical rate results of cure, and on top of that, cosmetic results are excellent. Once the cancer is treated, whether it be on face or any other part of the body, is treated, and after that, nobody can tell ever that there was cancer there. And last but not least, the side effects are minimal compared to the other modality, as I mentioned, for surgery. So the side effects are just some redness in the treatment area, the field which we treat, and that includes some skin tanning or some skin pinkish coloration or reddish discoloration, which is temporary and which goes away within 2 to 3 weeks after completion of radiation. So essentially, it has all what is needed for an ideal treatment: excellent cure rate, no side effects or minimal side effects, and great cosmetic results.
You know, we're talking about skin cancer, and if you're just tuning in, you know, the skin is the largest organ in the human body. And we live in this great town of Scottsdale, Arizona, in this great state of Arizona. And you shared with me before we got on the air that Arizona has a very high rate of cancer, skin cancer.
You're absolutely right, Bob. We enjoy our lifestyle living in this great state of Arizona. The weather is excellent. That's why we are so many folks coming from all over the country, moving here, living here, and even we have sunbirds who they come in winter and enjoy our weather. So we enjoy that, but then there's some price we have to pay, and that is the intensity of the sun here is more than other parts of the country. And if we expose ourselves more than what is needed, then it causes some undue side effects, and that is the skin cancer.
And you know, we can't help but expose ourselves to increase our sun. I mean, let's face it, you know, 365 days out of the year, I'm not looking at any almanacs, but I think the sun shines probably 300 of those. And, you know, the weather here is some of the best weather in our country, so we all love being outdoors. We love playing golf, we love playing tennis, we love hiking, just being outside, except for right now. It's a little hot right now, but, you know, if you get out early enough in the morning and you get out in the evening, it's still maybe a little warm, but it's not terribly warm. But because of that, we need to protect ourselves.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I know that, you know, I do this, and I'm sure you prescribe this, is that everybody should be wearing sunscreen, they should be wearing layers, they should be wearing hats.
You're absolutely right, and you know, the protection is just common sense. It's not rocket science, as you said. Protect yourself, and you know, the sunscreen is the critical thing. And I would want to emphasize this point that in other parts of the country, any number which we use to see the intensity, but we recommend highest intensity, 50 or higher SPF sunscreen, and then of course being you know, in shade and covering yourself, and that's common sense.
Well, we're going to put a break, and I want to really talk to you about the SPF numbers, because I think there's a lot of myth to that. And you know, for me, you know, I lifeguarded on the beach for 2.5 summers. They didn't have SPF in the stuff that I wore. There was a product called Nose Coat, which was kind of like a Vaseline that, you know, I used to wear on my nose and on my ears, and you know, the only other thing that we used to use is that zinc, that white zinc. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the sun protections out there. We're coming up on a break. A little Bruce Springsteen here. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. My name is Bob Roth. I'm your host, and I've got Sun eBX electronic brachytherapy in here. I've got Dr. Latif, I've got Mandy Stoffel, and I got Suzanne Stillion with us. We will be right back.
Stock market corrections may seem like random occurrences, but the fact is, market corrections are bound to happen. But what if you could see the correction coming in advance? What if you could be prepared to short the market before it's too late? Don't get caught off guard. Become a philsgang.com member and get all the daily market information, investment strategies, and be prepared to make profits when the market is up or the market is down. You can do this for only $49.95 a month. Learn how to invest in the market, get daily coaching guidance on your investments, and take the first step of putting profits in your pocket. With philsgang.com, you just log on and get daily instructions on how to invest in the market. You don't have to worry about long-term contracts or hidden fees. Plus, all philsgang.com material is archived, so just log on and enjoy the ride to profits. philsgang.com. Go to philsgang.com or give them a call today at 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Most of the listeners of the station have a mortgage of some type. My question is, why? My name is Joe Capitano, Senior Vice President, Homeowners Financial Group. Think of what life would be like if you didn't have a mortgage, that extra cash each month to enjoy or to invest. And I can show you how to eliminate that mortgage in a fraction of the time without changing any of your current spending habits. It's so simple, it'll just amaze you. Call me today and let me get you back on the road to financial freedom. The interest savings alone could put your kids through college or maybe fund your retirement. Call me, Joe Capitano, 480-305-8545, 480-305-8545, or just go to joeloans.com. Back number 090-6222, MS number 9826, Equal Housing Lender. That's Joe Capitano, 480-305-8545. That's Joe Capitano, 480-305-8545, 480-305-8545, or just go to joeloans.com.
What's your dream? Enter the Bucket List Sweepstakes at the Arizona State Credit Union and you could win it. Visit bucketlistaz.com for official sweepstakes rules. Void where prohibited, no purchase necessary.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. My name is Bob Roth, and you are listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. And if you're just tuning in, we're in our second segment, and I've got Sun eBX, electronic brachytherapy, here in the studio with me. And I've got Dr. Latif, I've got Mandy Stouffer, and I got Suzanne Stillion. And if you missed our first segment, you can catch it right up on our website at cypresshomecare.com. Go up to the very top, you'll see a radio show button, or you also see a radio microphone halfway down. Click on that, you'll catch that first segment. You'll catch about 80 others. And you're listening to our great show here today, and we're talking about skin cancer. And for those that don't know this, the skin is the largest organ in the human body. And before we took the break, we were talking about SPFs. And there's a little misnomer out there about SPFs, because I know from a marketing standpoint, a lot of these consumer product goods companies, and I used to be in that world. For our listening audience that doesn't know it, I used to work for the Quaker Oats company, and I know I've shared this before, Gatorade and Dole Foods. Marketing is a big part of what they do. Dr. Latif, there's 50, there's 30, there's 70, there's 90, and I think there's even over 100. I mean, I think the most important thing that I've learned about SPFs is that we have to reapply. And I think so many people put it on and think that you're done for the day. But tell me a little bit about the numbers. Tell me about reapplying and
Okay. Well, that's a great question. And basically, SPF stands for Sun Protection Factor. So SPF gives a number of intensity of the chemical which we put on the body to protect from the sunlight, and and UV ultraviolet rays which sun has, and mostly UVB is the which is most damaging and causes skin cancer. So the higher the number, higher the protection. So usually it starts with 10 and goes, as you said, up to 100. And in most part of the country, 15, 20, or at the most 30 is enough, because the intensity of the sun is not that high. But as I said earlier, in Arizona, because of the geographic location, not only we get sun most of the time, as you said, again, 300 days of a year, but the intensity of the sun is also more than any other part of our country. So because of these factors, we have to use at least 50 or more than 50 SPF so it to be effective. And then absolutely, it's not that we put the sunscreen in the morning and we are done for the day. Matter of fact, the recommendation is to, if we are outdoors, we recommend putting at least 2 to 3 times a day. And we think we go in the pool. We are lucky that most of the household over here, they have pools and they enjoy going in pools or community pools. And, even there, we have to apply the sunscreen. But then the thing is, the sunscreen gets washed off, and we come out and we sit in the sun, and then actually we are harming ourselves more. We think that we are in water and we are wet and all that. That's a protection. Actually, that's not. So in the pool, we recommend putting every 1 hour or at the most 2 hours, and it has to be repeated over and over. So it is smart to be aware that we have to put sunscreen, but we have to put it repeatedly based on the conditions we are during the day.
One of the questions I have too is that we have lotion, which we've known for years.
Right. And,
there's there's sticks that come out. There's also spray.
Mm-hmm.
Are they all equal? I mean, in terms of, are you fine with the different forms of the sun protection products that are out there?
Actually, it's the product doesn't have to be expensive. It has to be a good, decent brand which we trust. And any product, the cream or lotion or anything is good. And as long as we are aware and we put it on, and it will interest you and our audience that now we have this sun protection in our clothing. And even detergents have that sun protection.
Detergents have it. Wow.
Detergents have that.
Women's makeup has it. I know my wife applies makeup every day that has SPFs in it.
Right. So there are all sorts of forms of sun protection available. Only thing is we have to be aware, we have to be intelligent about it, and just follow the rules, as we discussed and as recommended by the products.
Now, is it true, and I remember reading about this, is it true that the majority of sun damage that we achieve or we get in our lifetime happens between the time we were born and the ages of 16 or 18 years old?
No, actually, it's a great question, and I would submit that the sun damage starts from age 6 months onward. And the thing is, the damage to our sun is cumulative. So the more we expose our children to sunshine in the beginning, from 6 months onward, that effect, that damage in the skin layers, it stays there. It's not undone. So more we expose, the more we are prone to getting cancer and all other bad effects. So 16 and 18 is actually, the tissues are more raw and they are growing. They are more prone to damage, but it is a cumulative effect and it goes on, and it manifests in later age, especially after age 55 or later.
So a question I have for you, I'm not quite 55 or later. So I'm under that, and right. I just came back from vacation, and I was definitely out in the sun, and I shared that with our listening audience. What do you attribute, because I never used to have these white spots on me, and is that something that happens when you get older?
That is true. Cancer in general is a disease of 55 and over. We are younger, our genes control our mechanism very, very tightly. And so that's how, we are young, we are energetic and all that. After age 55, everything starts going south. And then those control of those genes is loose, and that's what cancer is. That is abnormal, excessive growth of cells because of looseness of those genes which are controlling. So those are factors. Environmental factors are internal factors which all contribute to cancer.
But it's more pigment related. It's not a cancer. It's, your pigment changes, right? I mean, it brings these white spots and age spots and stuff like that on you.
No, pigment is another layer of protection which unfortunately for Caucasian population is not there. But the brown folks and like myself and African Americans, they have large deposit of pigments which is called melanin because of evolution. It has developed because Africans they lived in Africa for hundreds of years, and because the intensity of sun was very high over there, they developed melanin and pigment. So that's why they are protected. They don't have as much cancer. On the contrary, people living in Europe, they are light skinned because the sun intensity is not that high. Melanin is not there, and that's why they are more prone to cancer. And same thing in Arizona, the population, Caucasian population, they have to be very, very careful about these factors of applying the sunscreen and all. So basically, it's aging as well as melanin.
Got it. And for our listening audience, sunscreen and clothing, protection, protect yourself from the sun and limit the amount of exposure. And if you know you're going to be exposed, definitely put the sunscreen on and reapply. Dr. Latif, I wanted you to share with our listening audience a little bit about your background and really, who you are and how you got into this business and what was really the genesis for Sun eBX, because I know it was founded by Dr. Roth, and you're working with him, and I'm just finding out we're coming up on a break because I'm going to ask that question again. So we'll hear it on the third segment. I'll let you finish. But it was founded by Dr. Roth.
Correct, yes.
And how long has Sun eBX been around?
It's been about 5 years now.
About 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And really what makes you guys unique is that you guys deliver to the home.
Correct.
Or to a community, like an assisted living, independent living community, senior center, or something like that.
That is correct.
Okay, and the genesis behind it was it's hard for people to come to you. So let's go to them because our aging adult population has more incidences of this, like you said, after 55 years old.
You're absolutely right. And, after a certain age, it's very difficult to mobilize and go places. And especially going to doctor, there are so many diseases of the old age. And skin cancer is so prevalent after 55 in Arizona. So it was very, very difficult for them to go to doctor and have treatment. So basically, our idea was to provide this service at their homes and their places of their residence.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about your background and Dr. Sraw's background and really the genesis of this, but I think you provide an incredible service to our aging adult population, and it's right here in the Phoenix metropolitan area, which is unbelievable. So we're going to give out just real quickly here your phone number. It's 602-529-4600. You can also reach them on the internet at Sun E. E as in Edward, B as in Bob, and X as in X-ray.com. We're up against a break. My name is Bob Roth. I've got Sun eBX here. You're listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. We'll be right back.
As we reach the bottom of the hour, we pause for a look at the world's news. Then we're back with Money Talk. We're Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
The first Republican presidential debate in the 2016 race is going down in the record books as the most watched one ever, with 24 million viewers tuning in. Correspondent Brian Stelter.
Big TV shows like The Walking Dead, big dramas, big comedies might be lucky to get 15 million viewers. The biggest football game of last season on Sunday night, 24 million viewers. We're talking about one of the biggest TV events of the year last night.
Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer of New York has announced he will oppose the nuclear accord with Iran. Florida Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz explains his reasoning.
At the end of the day, I know Chuck's decision was based on what he personally concluded was the most likely way of preventing Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, and that's the choice that I'm going to have to make after I go home and talk with my constituents as well.
The labor sector continues to shape up with another 215,000 jobs added to the economy last month. The unemployment rate is holding steady at 5.3%. I'm Ann Cates.
The eyes you're born with are the ones you keep. They don't even grow much. Think about this. Many children need eyeglasses or contacts and don't even know it because the screening they get at school isn't always enough. Eye problems can affect learning and behavior throughout your child's life. But a comprehensive eye exam can change all that. Shouldn't your child see an eye doctor yearly? Find one near you at thinkaboutyouryes.com. Your child's vision is nothing to play with. Brought to you by the American Optometric Association.
Right now, qualified Wells Fargo customers can get even lower rates with special interest rate discounts on select new loans and lines of credit with the Great Rate Event.
My Great Event is making space for my new twins.
Refinancing my auto loan.
Growing my business.
Hurry in. The Great Rate Event runs from July 1st through September 30th, 2015. Stop by Wells Fargo or visit wellsfargo.com/great rate to learn more.
Subject to credit qualification. Wells Fargo Bank N.A. member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS RID 399801.
You found the one place on your radio that talks money, how to make it, spend it, and save it every day. Thanks for being with us.
Are you retired or headed into retirement? Call Anil Vazirani and Secured Financial Solutions at 800-957-5604 extension 200 to learn how to maximize your Social Security and Medicare benefits and to potentially reduce taxes on your Social Security income. Call Secured Financial Solutions at 800-957-5604 extension 200 or on the web at www.theripa.com. Listen to Anil Vazirani on the Money Radio Show every Thursday at 9 a.m.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ray Lucia, and I talk about your money, your business, and your life right here on the radio. So if you happen to have any money-type questions, well, worry not. That's because I'm here to provide you with the most sound financial advice in the country. So tune in to the Ray Lucia Show every weekday, 10 to 11 a.m., right here on Money Radio 1510 a.m. and 99.3 FM.
Tune in every Wednesday at 10 a.m. for Precious Timber with Alex Wilson on Money Radio 1510 a.m. and 99.3 FM.
Real Estate Radio Arizona is hosted by real estate expert Carol Royce. The purpose of the show is to help consumers understand what's really going on in our local Arizona real estate market. We're teaching you the why and the how-to, so you'll always be one step ahead of everyone else. Whether you need to sell your home fast and for top dollar, refinance and save money, or just looking for a great deal, Carol Royce can help. Call Carol at 480-776-5231. That's 480-776-5231. Let Carol and her team represent you in your next real estate transaction. Having someone who can answer all your questions, who truly cares about you and your family's best interest, is priceless. Call Carol today and you'll be glad you did. Remember, your home sold or Carol will buy it. Call Carol today, 480-776-5231, and start packing.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Kubota, driven by perfectionists. Get some perfection in your world with compact tractors, zero-turn motors, and diesel utility vehicles from Kubota. Find your local Kubota dealer at Kubota.com.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. My name is Bob Roth, and you are listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. You are listening to our third segment, and I've got Sun eBX, electronic brachytherapy, here in the studio. I got Dr. Latif. I got Mandy Stoffel.
Hi, Bob.
And I got Suzanne Stillion.
Hello.
Hello. It's good to have you here in the studio. And when we last left off, I wanted to have Dr. Latif and I want the both of you kind of to share with the genesis on how this all began. And I know it was probably Dr. Sra's vision, and you, no one better than you to probably share that with us.
Sure. I'll briefly introduce myself first. I'm a radiation oncologist. I treat cancer with radiation. I did my training for cancer at Albert Einstein University, Montefiore Medical Center in New York. Did my fellowship at Harvard in Boston. And then I worked in Michigan for 5 years. And boy, the cold over there got us, and my wife gave me ultimatum to get out of there. And so basically we found the warmest place in the country, and here we are. So basically I worked as a radiation oncologist, treated cancer of all sorts. But then living in Arizona, we know cancer, skin cancer is a big problem. So it was vision of Dr. Sra to found a company which will treat skin cancer, and so we partnered together, and we have been treating skin cancer with this new technology called electronic brachytherapy. And we are so lucky that we were able to help so many patients. We treated them, and patients love them. They are so thankful that they don't have to be cut. And the problem with the skin cancer is that if somebody gets skin cancer once, their skins and their bodies are immune to it. They keep on getting again and again. So if somebody has surgery one time, they have to have it multiple times, and patients, especially elderly folks, they get sick and tired of that, and then they are on medications and they cannot have surgery, and pain, and I can go on and on and on. But with this technology, we are so lucky that we can treat, we can cure patients, and we can help patients. So basically that's the genesis of this company.
You know, it's interesting as you say that once you get it, you have reoccurrences. And in the office building I'm in, my accountants are in there, and one of the principals there, every once in a while I'll see him with a Band-Aid on his forehead, or it might be on his cheek, and you know, he's constantly getting stuff cut out. And you know, I think what I'm hearing you say is that electronic brachytherapy could be a solution for him rather than, you know, getting the scalpel and getting that carved out.
Exactly. And you won't believe me, I know a patient for fact that who had skin cancer 105 times, and he was surgically treated that many times.
Wow.
And for last year, you know, the doctor finally, you know, he said, you know, this is too much going on, and the patient is sick and tired of it. So now I have treated him, and he's so happy that, you know, he doesn't have to go under the knife, and, you know, this treatment doesn't have any side effects. So basically, we are lucky that we live in this day and age where technology has advanced to this extent that, you know, we can forego scalpels and knives and still have equal or better cure rates.
Your company's been around 5 years.
Correct.
The technology's been around equally 5 years, or was it around prior to that?
The brachytherapy actually, you know, has been around long time, and the brachytherapy is used for all different organs, skin cancer, not alone skin cancer, but others is used for breast cancer, lung cancer, gynecological cancer, and prostate cancer, and all that. But the skin brachytherapy has been used for like 5 to 7 years, and that's when everybody started using it and saw the good results and all the benefits. So basically, we have been using it for 5 years and excellent results. So,
wow, it is. To me, it sounds so futuristic. It sounds like something from Star Trek. It's exciting. It really is. And
the technology.
And I'm happy to bring this to our listening audience to let them know there are alternatives other than the scalpel.
Exactly.
So, Mandy.
Hi, Bob.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I'd love to hear how you got introduced to Sun eBX.
Well, I'm a nurse for Sun eBX. I'm clinical liaison, and my background is I have practiced under many disciplines under the auspices of nursing. It just so happens that dermatology is my favorite.
Nice,
yeah.
Nice. And how'd you get introduced to these guys? Did you find them, or they find you, or?
I think it was fate.
It was fate.
Definitely fate.
Well, especially being that you were in dermatology.
Yeah, my background is dermatology, and when I didn't even know that there was such a procedure or treatment. I had no idea. And when I looked into the organization and found that it was a non-surgical way to treat skin cancer, to myself, I thought, I got to be a part of that.
Well, it's interesting because, being a nurse, you get a chance to really get in touch with your patients and really understand it. And I mean no disrespect to Dr. Latif, but, doctors are typically seeing, patients in and out, and they're in doing their job, but the nurses are the ones that are compassionate ones. They're the ones talking to the patients. And if you've had experience with dermatology, you've pretty much seen it all, haven't you?
I have seen it all. I have seen people struggle with many different diseases of the skin cancer being the most serious. We had a patient referred to us that came in for a skin cancer on the face, and we asked about her history. And she said she has had skin cancer before. And she took off her nose, Bob.
What?
Her nose had been removed, and she had a prosthetic. And she said, "Where were you 3 years ago?"
I got chills.
Yeah,
Wow.
I do too every time. It's
Oh,
very
it's so sad.
makes me very sad. Yeah.
So sad.
But we helped, we helped. And so if there's any more skin cancers, we'll be there for her.
And Suzanne.
Bob.
I'm so glad to have you in the studio. You and I have known one another for a little while.
A little while,
A little
yeah.
while. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, thank you.
But you serve as a community liaison for this wonderful company, but you have been in the adult community. That's easy for me to say. It's Friday. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into this.
Well, I'm an Arizona native, so the sun has always been something that we've been a little bit afraid of. I was raised to be very, very cautious. My background in working with the elderly includes everything from marketing to managing to opening buildings to closing buildings, whatever we needed to do. This opportunity, though, I look at this less as a job and more of a privilege, because at this point in my life, if I have the opportunity to go into a home or into a community and offer a service that's not threatening, it's something that we can do that helps these people, and they're so grateful. It gives us an idea of what we're going to be looking at as we get older. It helps us to know that we need to treat people the way we want to be treated. And so this is a lesson, even at this point in my life, I continue to learn that we need to give back, and this is a perfect way to do so.
And you know that landscape so well. And you know the people in that business, and you know the need.
I do.
And you know it not only firsthand, but you know it from the residents that occupy these communities.
Absolutely.
That you so talk about.
And they're so grateful when we go in and do these things. They're so grateful. You can't help but love every one of them.
Well, I know the feeling firsthand. It sounds like we're up against a break, guys, so we're going to have to take a break. My name is Bob Roth. You're listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. We'll be right back.
What you don't know can possibly hurt your retirement. Social Security. Do you have a plan? Do you know how and when to start taking your benefits? Join certified financial planner, host of My Smart Retirement, and Money Radio contributor Nancy Fleming as she helps you uncover ways to maximize your Social Security benefits, increase your retirement income, and attend Nancy's informative Social Security workshop Tuesday, August 11th in Mesa. Attend this workshop and you will discover little-known strategies that will enable you to use your benefits effectively. Nancy will discuss a wide variety of topics that relate to Social Security. Learn how Social Security benefits are calculated, how to coordinate spousal benefits, and much more. Don't miss out on substantial benefits and be sure to attend this informative workshop, 6 p.m. on Tuesday, August 11th in Mesa. Space is limited, so reserve your seat today, 480-632-8770. Plan well, retire well, 480-632-8770.
Laura Bramnick is a real estate agent and a real estate attorney and a consumer advocate. If you have distressed property, a possible short sale or foreclosure, you need more than a real estate agent. You need a good attorney. You're not alone. Laura can help. For more information, visit talkrealestateaz.com or call 480-624-2705. That's 480-624-2705. To talk with Laura, call 480-624-2705.
Hi, I'm Nick Grovich, host of Good as Gold, heard every Thursday at 1 p.m. on Money Radio. I have over 35 years of experience as a professional coin and bullion dealer, as well as a published author of 2 books that expose the inside workings of the rare coin market. Each week I'm going to share with you my tips on how to safely invest in precious metals and what to do if you're one of the 90% that were sold overpriced rare coins. Tune in every Thursday at 1 p.m. as I host Good as Gold, exclusively on Money Radio 1510 AM and 99.3 FM.
For the latest in the world of golf, tune in to Inside Golf every Monday morning at 7:18 right here on Money Radio. Inside Golf is brought to you by Bodify and Cool Sculpting, where confidence takes shape.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. My name is Bob Roth, and you are listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. We're a weekly show found right here on Money Radio, 1510 AM, 99.3 FM, and we are on our fourth segment. I was going to say third. We're having so much fun.
Time flies.
It does fly. We're on our fourth segment, and I got Sunny eBX, electronic brachytherapy here. And in the studio, I've got Dr. Latif, I've got Mandy Stoffel, and I got Suzanne Stillion. And it's hard to believe we're down 3 segments. We're on our fourth. And I want to make sure we take advantage of all this time because it's not a lot. So I've got a couple questions I want to throw out to you guys. My first question is, explain to me, Dr. Latif, what is electron brachytherapy? If you can help my listening audience visualize what does this mean, that you're not cutting somebody, but you're treating cancer, skin cancer.
Right. That's a great question. As I alluded to earlier, it's a technology because the age we are living. And radiation is produced in different ways. In old times, 50 years ago, the bulk of the radiation was produced by radioactive materials, and we'll utilize those sources like radium and other sources of natural radiation materials, isotopes to treat. But now with the advancement of technologies, we had linear accelerator, which is what we use for most cancers for external beam radiation therapy. And this latest technology, this electronic brachytherapy, I'll give you a simple example, just like a old-fashioned bulb has a filament, and the electricity goes there and excites that filament made of tungsten, and then it emits the light. So basically, in whether it be linear accelerator or this electronic brachytherapy, there is a filament which is excited by different sources, which produces very high energy radiation, and that's what electronic brachytherapy is. Electronic brachytherapy is a mobile unit. Two different companies make it. So that has very advanced filaments which are excited and which produces this current of radiation which we can manipulate and use to treat cancer.
So it can zero down to probably, I would imagine, centimeters or millimeters, right?
Exactly. And that is what is the beauty of brachytherapy. With the brachytherapy, we can control that how far the radiation beam goes and then stop there completely. And that is very critical because bulk of the cancer which we treat is on face, on nose, on ear, lips, scalp. So basically, we want to control, we want to treat the cancer, but at the same time, we want to absolutely make sure the radiation doesn't go beyond where we need it, and that's what brachytherapy is. It's very, very limited in the diameter, in the circumference, and at the depth as well. So patients' normal tissues are protected, but we get rid of the cancer 98% of time.
And what I understand about medicine, and I understand what you're talking about, we need to cause an event, inflammation, break something down. It's like when we work out, I've learned that, that feeling you get after working out, sore muscles, what you're doing is you're rebuilding. So I would imagine that's what's happening to the body. When you're doing this, you're sending that signal, that radiation, and it's creating, your body is helping to create a rebuilding phase, is it not?
Actually, I'm glad you asked this question. I want to clarify that this electronic brachytherapy, first of all, is not laser, because laser is not very penetrating and it cannot kill cancer cells. No lasers can kill cancer. Heat, we have used and tried in past, it doesn't work. So electronic brachytherapy is neither laser, neither heat. So it's a radiation, and how radiation works is amazing. That all kind of radiation, it goes through our bodies and goes through our cells, and the target is the nucleus, the DNA in the nucleus of the cells. So basically this, whether it be electronic brachytherapy or external beam or any form of radiation, it disrupts the DNA of the cells. Nice. And that's what that destruction of the DNA is how we kill cancer cells. And the beauty is that this differential mode of this brachytherapy or any radiation, it is more effective for cancer, but it spares the normal tissues. Normal tissues have capability of repairing themselves within 6 to 8 hours, but cancer cells, if they are dead, they die. Most of them, they die during the process of radiation. And then secondly, if they are hurt and they try to repair themselves, they die off during that process because they are not mature cells. They don't have capabilities, hormones, or structures to be able to repair themselves. On the contrary, normal cells can repair themselves within 7 to 8 hours, and that's how radiation works. So that's why the side effects which I mentioned, the redness or tanning, that's those normal tissues are excited, or kind of the side effects which body can repair very effectively. So again, it is the damage to the DNA of all the cells which causes the cure of cancer.
You gave me and our listening audience a great visualization of exactly how this works, because I would have never known that. So Dr. Latif, thank you for walking us through this.
You're welcome.
I want to also talk about and understand that you have a new mobile lab. What type of service does this lab provide, and how far does this service expand? And please, Mandy or Suzanne, if you want to chime in, I want to learn a little bit about this, and I want our audience to hear about this as well.
This is where I get excited, Bob.
Okay.
Sure, Mandy, go ahead.
This mobile unit is fantastic. It's a state-of-the-art mobile clinic. It's a Mercedes, and I say that only because it's the only time I'll be behind the wheel of a Mercedes. But this mobile clinic is state-of-the-art. It goes anywhere it needs to go. We go to Payson. We go to Wickenburg.
Wow.
We go Flagstaff. We go down to Tucson. We can go anywhere in this mobile unit. It also has, I want to say, a wheelchair lift on the back so that anyone, whether they are mobile or not, can come on board of this clinic and get treatment.
So if I were to visualize this or have our listening audience visualize it, is it like a doctor's exam room inside that unit?
Absolutely.
So there's a chair and all the apparatuses?
The treatment machine.
Wow.
Yeah. So we go out and do these screenings, and when we see something that is suspicious, we biopsy it and set them up for treatment if it comes back as malignant.
And you have all the equipment. You've got the electronic brachytherapy right there.
Exactly, Bob. And we are so happy to share with you that this is one of the kind, and this is patented by eBX, and it has capability of doing the biopsy in that mobile unit, and it has a fixed electronic brachytherapy unit there, so we can do the biopsies there, we can treat.
And how quickly do you get the results of the biopsy? Right away?
No, we have to send out to the pathology department.
Right.
And
3 to 5 days.
3 to 5 days, okay.
Right.
But you can take the biopsy right there.
Exactly.
And the patient or the person can come back for treatment.
Right.
We go back to them for treatment.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, we go back to them for treatment. And the folks that we have already gone out and seen, when I tell them that we come to them to do these biopsies and we come back to them to treat them, they are just elated. They are so happy. Most of them don't drive. And it's very difficult to get a van to transport them.
Well, you know, and it's interesting because we're talking about the aging adult communities, but you could go into, for instance, my clients' homes, individual homes, if they need it.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's hard to believe we're coming to the end of the show. I have learned a great deal here today about the largest organ in the human body, the skin, and the most vulnerable here in the state like Arizona. And we have this great resource right in our backyard called Sun eBX Electronic Brachytherapy. Dr. Latif, I can't thank you enough for being here with us.
I appreciate the opportunity. It was pleasure. And last thing what I want to say is, of course, you know, we make living out of this profession, but we want to go out and, you know, screen the patients and absolutely make sure that there are no cancers, and if there are cancer, we can treat them. But this
Perfect.
is a service we provide.
Thank you.
Bringing house calls back.
Mandy, Suzanne, Dr. Latif, thank you.
There's no place like home. You've been listening to Bob Roth's Health Futures. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call Cypress Home Care Solutions at 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Or visit CypressHomeCare.com. Be sure to join Health Futures with Bob Roth every Friday at noon, right here on Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
If you're like most Money Radio listeners, you get a little busy sometimes, meaning you can't always hear your favorite shows. Now you can tune in anytime to one of the best retirement shows on the radio, Mastering Money, with wealth manager Steve Jurich and the doctor, Sinclair No. Heard weekdays at 8 a.m. live or at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. or noon. It's really up to you. Download the Mastering Money app for your Apple or Android device, or click on the podcast at masteringmoneyradio.com. See you there.
Money Radio 1510
and 99.3 FM.
Is KFNN Mesa Phoenix and K257CD Phoenix. Come face to face with your potential customers and clients. Log on to financialfest.com and see if you qualify. Right now, the Dow is down 54 points. The S&P 500 is down 7, while the NASDAQ is down 14 points.
When people want to talk about money, this is the place they come to. And there's more on the way after this break for the latest news. And we begin now.